Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first off, I hope everybody is having a great day today, or a great night wherever you guys are. Today we have been watching Bitcoin very closely, especially even with equities. Today is a new day though, and we will be seeing equities opening within roughly about 9.5 hours. We are definitely watching for that closely. Today was a little bit of a weird day. Equities did start to kind of break out slightly as the market actually kind of went down in regards to crypto. We are watching Bitcoin closely. I do believe that this entire market is kind of in a bull trap right now, not to, rain on anybody's parade. I've just been watching this market closely, especially even with like the Ethereum merge. I think that the Ethereum merge is probably one of the most bearish events right now within crypto that everybody's extremely excited about. I do think that going into the fall timeframe, we are going to see a little bit of a bearish formation within the market, with probably, I would say, a nice little winter into 2023. I think that 2023 is definitely going to be a very exciting time frame. I do look forward to accumulating the dips. I think that this is where the future 1% will be created. I think that going forward, this market is going to be seeing a monumental rise within market cap, adoption, and significant money flows within this market as well. But first off, we do have to endure the bear market pain, and we have been going into this bear market for quite some time. Honestly, around November will be the full 1 year time frame. So, after November, that's where I'm really kind of looking at this market being in a bullish spotlight again. I think that these bear market rallies will catch a lot of individuals off, balance basically, and, catch them while they are trying to jump in. They're FOMOing in. They're scared that they're going to miss out on something, but this is not the time where you want to jump heavily into this market where, things are pumping and everybody's bullish on Twitter. I actually like when the sentiment is like, hey, the world's ending, everything's done. Like, that's when you want to be putting money in. But today we are going to be talking about something pretty significant, and that is the Federal Reserve. It looks like they are flipping bullish on crypto at this current moment in time. And I don't know if you guys remember, but I was talking about how the Federal Reserve could possibly add Bitcoin to the reserves. Remember, Bitcoin is technically the only asset, in quotation marks, that has regulatory clarity from the SEC. So the Federal Reserve adding Bitcoin to the reserves would be the most bullish standpoint for this entire market. Now, do I think that that's going to be happening? The chances of that are a little bit unlikely, but today we did see this massive, monumental, announcement from the Federal Reserve, and that is the Federal Reserve has published final guidance that could allow crypto banks to access its master accounts and payments network. This is pretty big. And we do see here the U.S. Federal Federal Reserve, opens a pathway for crypto banks to tap central banking system. The central bank will create a 3-tiered system for evaluating whether a financial institution should have access. And this is something special. I mean, when we talk about CBDCs and we talk about central banks and things like that around crypto, this is probably going to create a lot of buzz. And we do see the U.S. Federal Reserve said Monday it is publishing its final guidance, for novel financial institutions to access its master accounts, something these firms need to participate in the global payment system. And we do see down here, Monday announcement would seemingly move the U.S. Central Bank one step closer to possibly allowing Wyoming Special Purpose Depository Institutions, SPDI, like Custodia, formerly Avanti, and Kraken Bank, access to these accounts so they would not need intermediary banks. So this is something interesting, and the new guidelines provide a consistent and transparent process to evaluate requests for Federal Reserve accounts and access to payment services in order to support a safe, inclusive, and innovative payment system. And it looks like the Federal Reserve is flipping pretty bullish on crypto as we do kind of move into 2022 or late 2022. And we do see under the guidance, Tier 1 banks would be federally insured. Tier 2 banks would not be federally insured, but are still subject to prudential supervision by a federal banking agency. The third tier consists of firms that are not federally insured and not subject to prudential supervision by a federal banking agency, which would most likely apply to the Wyoming crypto bank. So it looks like crypto banks are not only going to be adopted in, but we are going to see them having access to the Federal Reserve's master accounts, and it's going to look like a great 2022 into 2023 timeframe. And I think that this is going to be something special. And we do see down here the long road ahead. Custodia and Kraken both applied for master account access in 2021, shortly before the Fed published its initial proposal. The CEO of Kraken Bank told CoinDesk at the time that the proposal was a positive step for his company. There's nothing novel in terms of the factors that they're including here. It's exactly the type of things that the Federal Reserve is looking at in terms of risk to the reserve itself, risk to payment system, and risk to the economy. Yeah, I mean, when we really kind of look at this, this is a big step forward, especially for crypto. And, I'm very excited for the future of this market. I think that as we do kind of move forward on, we're going to see a lot more movement like this, specifically around the Federal Reserve. And also, going over here, we do see here the train has left the station from Riz XRP. Listen closely to this.
Would spend a lot of time watching how legislation moves through Congress. What legislation needs to move through, it's like a train that leaves its part of its starting point and then moves along, and it goes from village to village and town to town to its ultimate destination. And people get on and people get off, but eventually it arrives. What's important about the Lummis-Gillibrand bill, which you just mentioned, a train has now left the station. And that train is comprehensive. It's got many cars on it, deliberately so. Some of those cars will be taken off along the way. Some will be added. Some passengers will get on. Some passengers will get off. But the important thing is now the train has left the station. It's bipartisan, it's comprehensive, and it's very, very thoughtful. Would spend a lot of time.
And of course, you could kind of tie this to XRP if you want, but he's more so talking about the Loomis bill and around like regulations around crypto. And we do see here, add this, listen closely to this one as well.
Well, I think that even the regulators are waiting to see our legislation move forward. And if they see the legislation that Senator Gillibrand and I are sponsoring get a good reception, get legs in the U.S. Senate, they can actually begin regulating to the standards expressed in the legislation before the legislation passes.
And that would basically be the end of the SEC's, overreach. I've talked about it all the time, especially in regards to the SEC lawsuit. We technically don't even need the SEC to either one, settle with Ripple, or have Ripple either one, win the entire case and have, again, regulatory clarity, or the case gets dismissed, which we talked about yesterday. Low chances of that, but we won't need any of that if Congress steps in, or even like the CFTC takes over and regulates crypto. Things are moving fast. We don't know exactly what's going to be happening. I'm not going to sit here and speculate and say, hey, I know what is going to happen. I don't. I can't really tell you guys exactly what's going to happen here. We could speculate all day long. I would love to hear from you guys on this. Let me know what you guys think is going to go and, really kind of happen around this. But things are definitely moving pretty quick, especially with the Fed now really kind of opening a pathway for crypto banks in general. So things are moving quick. And also talking more so about things moving quick, here we have ISO 222. We've talked about ISO 222 in the past. We've talked about how this definitely is going to be something special for crypto, not in the regards of how everyone else is kind of playing this up. I think that this definitely is something to watch for, as it does, usher us into a new age of the financial system. But we do see here the service will go live in August 2022 on an opt-in basis and on a mass basis in November 2022. Now, I know that a lot of individuals have said that it's now November 2023. We just kind of have to see exactly what comes from the Swift announcement page on Twitter, but it looks like we are going to be seeing a lot of opt-in basis going on in this month, where we do see multiple financial institutions opting in. I'm very excited for this. I think that this is going to be also something special, and even talking more so about the Federal Reserve kind of getting into the crypto banks area. We've talked about them with the FedNow Pay service, which kind of looks like it's not only utilizing Volante Technologies, but it looks like it's utilizing Volante Technologies with Ripple. And we actually do see a response down here saying, why do people actually think ISO 222 going live means anything about these crypto just because they are ISO compliant? And we do see Anders, completely responding, saying it's not directly related to crypto, but you need interoperability amongst messaging, as well as it being fast, not requiring manual intervention, etc., to really reap benefits with instant settlement that you can get with crypto. And that's exactly what I have said time and time again. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to tell you guys, hey, ISO 2022 is so extremely bullish for crypto. It's going to allow, XRP to be ushered in. It's going to give XRP clarity. And no, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. Listen, ISO 2022 is a messaging format that allows for the ease and removal of friction between most major banks and financial institutions, because they are all going to be running on the same messaging format. So this is great for interoperability, as Anders is saying here, and this is why I say like it's great for us ushering into the new financial system. I'm not trying to tell you guys that listen, like ISO 20022 is 100% going to make XRP skyrocket. No, I think that it is a great way for speculation to build, as well as for individuals to kind of pump XRP off of speculation alone with ISO 222, though. I will say that. But also, we do see over here ISO 222 migration timeline Swift equals CBPR plus and equals Ripple. This is from Nathan Price on Twitter. Listen closely to this. This is from Lloyd's Bank. Let me kind of skip ahead. Key migration timelines. So we have, so for Lloyd's Bank, there's 2 key sets of dates. And we do see in November 2022, the Target 2 migration will go live. I'm just kind of skipping ahead just so that you guys don't have to listen for the whole video. When over one weekend, we go from MT messages on the Friday to MX messages on the Monday. And we do see that this will be a big bang approach. And at the same time, the whole industry basically will begin the CBPR plus migration from MT to MX. And then over here we do see which is really key, because that is when we all have to start receiving ISO messages. Like I said, the ISO messages it's more so just kind of playing into the interoperability standard. It allows for the ease of messaging, and we even do see like even Bank of England CHAP system that will go live in April of 2023. And I do think that they are saying this will mean that for 5 months, between November 2022 and April 2023, where the UK local infrastructure will
local infrastructure will truncate
any enhanced data set into the UK. I couldn't really see that word because of the bar, so I just wanted to make sure that I was going to say it right. A request will be sent out by all UK CHAPS participants. And then down here, we will see the benefits of that, which is enhanced data. It's going to allow for interoperability. And a lot of people, like I said, have been playing perfectly into, a few things. For an example, down here, we do see the complete move. I'm not going to play into like the whole Ripple idea, but if we do look at the pros, it does allow for seamless integration of a few things. For example, pros aligns the financial institution with the payment landscape's best practices and facilitates seamless adoption of CBPR plus guidelines, richness, and updates. It may also enable using different types of payment channels and services such as Visa Direct, Ripple, and MasterCard Send without impacting other systems. Again, like when we look at Ripple and what they have been doing with the connections, I think that a lot of this is through Volante Tech as well. Like when we look at some of the major names tied to Volante, Swift was one of them. So it would allow for, the ease of adoption for like a Ripple, network. If we look at like RippleNet, even with combined names like, we look at Tranglo, we look at Finostra, and even when we look at, Volante, those are like the key players around the financial system as well as the institutional area. But this is going to be, where we do see mass adoption at a greater scale with ISO 222 with CBPR. But again, it doesn't play, like ISO itself doesn't play a key role in the idea of like XRP skyrocketing or XRP mass adoption. It just allows for these different types of payment channels and services like RippleNet to be, adopted in easier with less friction. So when we look at that, like, could that lead to mass adoption of XRP? Sure, it could. But I'm not going to sit here and say like ISO 222 is extremely bullish like most people have been saying for a while now. Because when you actually look at it, it's going to be, a sort of thing where like a lot of people kind of look at it and say, oh, well, this was underwhelming, because it is going to be an underwhelming announcement. It just does allow for better data as well as for, better interoperability within the payment sector. But we definitely have been paying attention. We've been watching closely. And I do think that right now everyone should be paying attention to some of these dates with, the ISO 222 migration, because it still is something important for crypto. Because again, when we really kind of look at this, it does open a lot of like the doors for interoperability and payment standards to be ushered in. I think that when we look at like Ripple being ISO 222 compliant, the good thing about that is the fact that when we look at like RippleNet, it does allow for that to be adopted into these systems easier, like they are saying down here. So again, it's still good for the industry, but it's not like a massive event where we should be like, pumping our bags and, buying as much as possible before the migration. No, don't get too bullish on things. Like I said, speculation hype could possibly pump the, ISO 222, tokens, but I'm not going to be sitting here and saying like XRP is going to go to the moon because ISO 222, absolutely not. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this before. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.